Good morning still. We are back here now as the Planning, Housing, and Parks Committee meeting. We have the Recreation Department with us, and we'll be going through their budget request here. We can turn it over now to Ms. Yao if you'd like to take us through the packet, and we'll just take up the issues one by one.
Great. I just wanted to also highlight that there's some typos in this packet, and Ms. Riley is not acting director. She is the director of the department.
I thought she knew something I didn't.
For fiscal year 24, the executive is recommending total expenditures of $60,104,575 for the department. It's an increase of about $4.9 million or 8.9% from the fiscal year 23 approved budget. The table on page 2 of your packet shows comparative information by funding source, positions, and FTEs for fiscal year 22 through 24. We talked already about racial equity and social justice. So getting right down to the expenditure issues, the table on page 4 of your packet shows required changes in the department. Those are kind of non-discretionary issues like annualization of fiscal 23 compensation increases, risk management, motor pool adjustment, etc. One of the items, though, I did want to call the committee's attention to is on recreation vacancies. What's being proposed for the lapse assumption for fiscal year 24, or how much unexpended personnel costs they're anticipating, is going to be less than what the council approved for fiscal year 23. As you might recall, there was many new positions that the department was anticipating to be filled, and thus the council increased the lapse assumption last year that resulted then in a savings in terms of operating budget. But this year, because the department has fewer new positions to fill and has been aggressively filling vacancies, there are no positions in the complement that have been vacant for over a year, etc. Because of that, there is going to be then a lesser amount assumed for vacancies, and that requires then an additional amount into their budget, which is budget lapse, $391,000 that is in their operating budget now because they will not be having more vacant positions open. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, appreciate that. Can we just talk about this for a few minutes and maybe turn over to the department? But a few things. One, we recognize you're in many ways heading into your peak season. You're busy all the time, but summer is you're the secondary role after young people get out of school, and obviously you have aging adult programs throughout the year and community-based things throughout the year. In the summer, you're the only game in town in many ways. So you become, you're always a star, but you become basically the only player on the field who can help us. There are some summer school programs, but generally, we're relying on the recreation department to really pick up a lot of the programming slack, not for a part of the day, but for all of the day. So I recognize that, and so this is kind of your peak hiring, I would imagine. If you could just update us on that. A lot of those programs are part-time and contractual, but then you have full-time folks who are hiring those folks. So if you could just catch us up on that, and then just give us an understanding. I just want to make sure, just to summarize, there are a number of vacancies. The vacancies have not been, like in some other departments, which have been open for extended periods of time, over a year, sometimes many years. None of the vacancies that you currently have been open for more than a year. Just want to confirm that, as council staff has noted, and that you expect, you're actively hiring each of these positions currently, and that you expect them all to be hired soon. And if you could just kind of give us a sense of when soon might be.
Tomorrow, if I could snap my fingers.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, actually, summer is our peak. I mean, we have 2,500 seasonal temp employees who work during the summer months, whether the lifeguard, cashiers, summer camp, teen works, you name it. We have a wide portfolio of that. We're heavily involved in that now. We've had some summer job hiring fairs. I think we have one today. We have one tomorrow at East County Rec Center from 10 to 2. If anybody's interested in listening at home, come by. So it is an aggressive approach. I think for us, a lot of our positions that you see in the chart have already been offered. They're in the queue. They're going through background checks, OMS, and they're coming on board. The other thing I will note is that of these vacancies, 20 of them were a result of promotional opportunities from within our department, which is exciting for our staff. You know, someone who was a rec coordinator now is a rec specialist was now a rec supervisor. So that continuum has changed and kept our vacancies kind of flowing, but it's a good thing, especially for our staff. The other piece of this is in 2009, which many of you weren't even probably born then, we lost, during the recession, we lost almost 60 employees, career merit employees. Between then and now, we've slowly started to grow back, but we've also added, 4 and 5 brand new buildings. We have a new building in Silver Spring that's coming, in late summer, early fall. We've added White Oak, North Potomac, Wheaton, and so those have created gaps for us as well. And so last year was a good year for us to be able to grow back and fill some of those positions in terms of the admin staff that have supported contracts, hiring processes. We had one person doing all of our hiring, one person doing all of our MC time. We had one person doing contracts. So, we're very excited to backfill some of that and make it change. So, I think a lot of these positions, by midsummer, I think we'll be full. We're very close to either filling all of them, and getting them on board and really filling some of the gaps that we felt for a long time. So I hope that answered your question or filled in some of the information that you were looking for.
Yeah, appreciate it. We're looking at vacancies and staffing levels and funded levels, mostly for those that aren't being actively recruited or vacancies that have been open for more than a year or longer. There doesn't seem like that's the case in the Department of Recreation. Just wanted to confirm that. Appreciate council staff digging into that, Ms. Yao. Why don't we continue unless colleagues have any other questions or comments on this? Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to recommended operating budget changes. The table on page 5 of your packet shows, again, kind of the ranking of priority, high priority of the executive's recommendations for the budget. Council staff does want to note that the information technology enhancements, which is the second item under high priority, should show as one time only, not an ongoing expense. But the first one is the inflationary adjustment to eligible nonprofit contracts that council members are very well aware of now. It's $99,195, and again, the executive had come up with a 3%, linking it to the consumer price index increases over the last 24 months, and as the chair had indicated earlier in talking about the 3%, this will be handled consistently across departments and budgets to make sure that the nonprofits are treated equitably.
Appreciate that. And these, most of these, just to acknowledge, had previously been handled through community grants process, and these are the ones specifically that have moved at the agency's suggestion or request into the base budget?
These were community grants, and these are community grants that were, I guess, funded perennially. So these were services that I think the county executive identified as needing to continue, and so they were recommended to move into the department's base.
Jewish Council for the Aging and some of the other program partners that you have historically partnered with on a number of them. I believe they are listed in the addendum. I can't remember which circle. I read it earlier, circle 7 maybe? Or,
yeah. Yep.
So if anybody wants to check those out, I think it's important. We're talking about them just so you can take a look at what those are, but appreciate that. Any? Good. Okay. Let's continue.
Okay, so we've talked about the inflationary adjustment and the community grants being shifted to the department's base. The last item is the information technology enhancements to modernize health submissions, which is $145,100. It's a one-time only, again, expense. And the purpose of the funding is to modernize the process for maintaining and collecting health record submissions by program participants. The department solicits a lot of different forms for people that are participating in their programs, and this data needs to be HIPAA compliant. And to date, it's pretty much an antiquated system. Just forms that they collect, put in notebooks, and have to schlep with them everywhere they're either at the site or they have to schlep them other places. And again, needing to make these electronic and easily accessible is a very high priority in council staff's opinion.
Could you just give sorry to interrupt, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, could you just give an example of it? Do you need a physical to play rec basketball? I mean, what are we talking about here?
What we're talking about primarily is around summer camps. So
Okay.
when we noticed over the last 2 years a real increase in terms of health forms and allergies and medicines that are needed for young people that are attending our summer programs. We have nurses and nurse techs that visit our sites, and for them to really track a health form that's filled out on paper by a parent that shows that a kid needs an EpiPen, that they have an allergy to something, they need regular medicines during the daytime, is challenging when they go to a pool, they go to a field trip. Tracking that with a health form that needs to be HIPAA compliant and sort of kept private has been especially challenging. And this platform, this camp electronic form, will allow us to link it to our registration software platform. They are partners with them. So it really helps us make sure that that information is easily accessible, but it's also kept private.
And would the idea be that this would be put in place to be utilized
Each season.
for next summer? So
Correct.
obviously this summer it's probably too late to do that,
Correct.
and it
This
won't
would
be
be for
available
next
till
summer.
July 1st.
Yeah, we would hope to pilot it during, a camp or a fall activity or a kids' day out program, just so that our staff are getting used to it and families are getting used to it. But it would be fully implemented next summer.
Next summer. Okay, great. Agree. High priority. Obviously, knowing what medicine children need when they're participating in our program seems to be important. So, appreciate that. So, without objection, let's move forward.
Okay, so we're going to be going over amendments to the fiscal year 23 to 28 capital improvements program. We have Director David Dice here to answer any questions that the committee has. The first item is the Kenny Shriver Aquatic Center Building Envelope Improvement Project. This project is basically, actually both projects, including the Holiday Park Net Zero Initiative, there's some scheduled deferments. And the Kenny Shriver Aquatic Center is being delayed. The schedule is shown on the table on page 6 of your packet as far as expenditures and how that's being shifted. The goal is to ensure that when the KSAC is down, that the South County Aquatic Facility and Recreation Center is up and able to take on some of that excess capacity.
And this continues the conversation that we have had, that has always been the plan, that we had to align this renovation project with the South County facility so that we can meet the needs, which are huge when it comes to these facilities. So this is really, it's an adjustment, but it's consistent with how this has been discussed, up to this point, that this was always the plan.
Correct. David Dice, Director of General Services. This one's pretty much on me. The facility that's under construction in Silver Spring, the South County facility, is going to be a wonderful facility. But because of its complexities, it's not going to be open until probably late summer, early fall. And I've called the shot that I want to make sure. The worst thing about a pool, particularly a pool over a garage, is if it leaks. So leaks are bad. And I want to make sure that the new South
Whose
County.
idea was that?
It's a great idea as long as it works.
Yeah, it's a great idea, except when it's not.
Well, that's why we want to
So make sure
sure.
to get it right. Well,
Right. So I've
yeah.
called the shot that I want SCRAC, the South County facility, to be in operation for a full 6 months. So we're kicking the tires and making sure. And given the KSAC and recreation schedule, which is very active during the winter, so that it gives us the time to make sure we've kicked the tires and everything's working right before the next window of opportunity to close Kennedy Shriver. So that's the year.
I will just tell you, I formally, sir, I was appointed to the Maryland Small Business Development Financing Authority, which was called Ms. BIDFA.
Yeah.
But
We're
so,
desperately
so it takes
searching
one
for
to
a new
know one of a
acronym.
really
Yeah.
lousy
Yeah,
acronym.
SCRAC
but
does not
you know,
roll
we're going to
off
have
the
to
tongue.
work on SCRAC. You know, KSAC I could live with, but I think SCRAC.
Well,
you know, I'd have to figure out how to say it right
It's an
first. and-
acronym developed by engineers.
Yeah, yeah.
So not
Well,
marketing
we'll work on that. Yeah. So just noting, the plan has always been to align these two. You're
Absolutely.
taking extra precaution on the timing
Yes.
of the South County facility, and because of that you know, alignment
The
is
timing
causing
works
this delay.
great,
I just think it's
actually.
important that we
Yeah.
flesh that out.
It works
Okay. Appreciate it. I don't think there's any concerns on that.
Okay. And the last item
Holiday
is the
Park.
Holiday Park Net Zero Initiative. Again, this schedule. Oh, sorry.
You're saying such important things. We want to make sure that people can hear you.
So the next project is the Holiday Park Net Zero Initiative. Again, the schedule is being shifted, deferred to some extent, and again, the amounts of the expenditures that are changing are listed in the table on page 7 of your packet. Executive has explained that it's the nature of the project phasing that results in the schedule shift. Council staff isn't quite sure what that meant, so again.
That's why we're here today. So,
Yeah,
Mr. Dice.
basically with the Holiday Park, the net zero is inside and outside effort, building envelope. And as we were looking at the design of the building envelope, the design of the building itself's got a lot of strip windows, and as we're replacing the windows, it's not, the original plan could have been to isolate certain areas of the building, but because of the window replacement going across around the perimeter of the building, it became obvious that we were going to have to close much more of the building, if not the entire building. And so we've worked with recreation. Instead of doing multiple phases, where we decided mutually the best thing is to shut it down, do it once instead of coming in and doing one thing with temporary closures, opening up, coming back later and doing one phase, one and done, we get in and get out. But that necessitates a 1-year push in the project.
So I'm going to turn it over to the district council member, but what is the time? I understand the thought process of, rather than extending out and having multiple disruptions,
Right.
trying to pack in as much disruption as possible into as limited period of time as possible.
Actually, the intent is to pack all disruption.
all disruptions
all of it
at one time, which I understand. But what's, just before I turn it over, I just didn't understand. It's delayed 1 year, but what's the timing total of what will be shut down and when it will be up and operational? Because obviously this is a facility that a lot of our older adults, which have lots of needs, as recreation knows better than anybody, they rely on this on a daily basis.
It'll be a
this
1 year
facility.
shutdown.
1 year shutdown. Okay, so date that it will be closed and date that it will be
Mutually
open?
agreed with recreation at a time to be determined.
Okay.
And we'll give it plenty of advance notice. When we go into anything, whether it's a library or a rec center, we work very closely with the client department to make sure we're accommodating their programs. And recreation in particular is always amazed us because they'll say, we need to work at the schedule a year and a half out because they're already advanced booking many programs and activities. And in this case, of course, recreation, because of the clientele served, it's not like a seasonal thing, so they have to move programs to other facilities. So we'll be working with them as to the optimal shutdown and timing. And of course, that helps us prepare in advance so that we know that as soon as the building's closed, the clock's ticking, and we got to get in and got to get out. So we'll align all of those resources. We've done this before and been successful at it. So this is not our first rodeo.
Let me turn it over to the district council member.
Thank you so much for the update. I have been briefed on this already. I just want to, my question is towards Ms. Riley. What's the effort, what's going to be the plan to ensure that people who are now going to the holiday park, how can they know about this and where they should go, and how can I help you? Because I'm getting phone calls on this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, we're working really closely with DGS on the timing, and once we have a set start date and time, I mean, we've already started doing some planning around transportation, nutrition, you know, and we'll work really closely with the clients and the customers at Holiday Park. We know that they're very connected to the building and to each other, so we want to make sure that they're feeling comfortable and secure in the timing of whether we redirect programs to Wheaton, we direct programs to Schweinhout, where we land those programs. So we'll work closely with them once we know we have a launch date to get going.
Can you please keep me posted? I would love to attend those meetings.
Absolutely,
Oh,
for sure. No
thank
question.
you so much.
Yeah.
And I agree with your plan. So.
Okay, well, committee agrees. We ask that you communicate with us broadly and specifically, certainly with district council member, lean on her and on us if we can be helpful in making sure that we're communicating the timeline as advanced as possible with residents who are relying on this facility. I will say people come from, far and wide to utilize the services and activities at this facility that is heavily used and utilized. So it is a critical asset to the district where it resides, but it's also a broader countywide asset as well. So I'd keep us all posted.
And I just want to, on that note, for council's benefit and certainly for the listening and future inquiring public's benefit, Recreation, which maintains an excellent website of all its locations and activities there, in the past, as he did with MLK Swim Center, we'll have a mutual link between the Recreation Center site and the DGS project page, so people will be able to go back and forth and maintain awareness of progress.
Sounds good. Any other comments or thoughts here? I think with that, we're through the packet and we are through the Recreation Department. I'll just note that we spent considerable time earlier this morning with our colleagues in the Education and Culture Committee talking about how great the Rec Department is, how much we appreciate your work. We won't reissue those compliments to you but we will just acknowledge that and let you get back to your work and get ready for peak season for you all, with appreciation for all the work that you do to serve everybody of every ability and every age in Montgomery County. So thank you so much.
Thank you.